And thank you so much for joining us for our Business Affiliates Scholarship Celebration. Our program will begin shortly. However, we encourage you to please watch the slides as we scroll through all of the generous donors who have made this program possible. Again, we will begin the program shortly. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us for this year's virtual Business Affiliates Scholarship Celebration. My name is Karen George. I'm the Senior Director of Advancement here for the university, and the Business Affiliates Scholarship Program is very near and dear to my heart. And even a pandemic could not stop the spirit or the progress of this program. So today we're going to celebrate 13 amazing scholarship recipients. We're going to recognize and appreciate our donors, and we're also going to show appreciation to our advisory board who does so much for this program. However, 2020 was not a year without challenges. And sadly, in July, we lost a very dedicated advisory board member to this program, Paul Whitson. Paul Whitson was a 91 alumnus to the University of Findlay, and he joined this advisory board a little bit more than a year ago. And here's how it happened. John Whitson, his brother, served on the board. He wanted to roll off, and I said, you can't go until you give me someone else to replace you. And he said, well, how about my brother Paul? And I said, sure. Paul and I met at the Hilton Garden Inn, and we instantly hit it off. We clicked. And we had this incredible conversation about the university, but about so much more. And that would continue to be our tradition every time that we met. And what I want to tell you, especially students that are out there, Paul was 100% invested in this program. He worked tirelessly to secure donations from the people that were assigned to him. He would call me multiple times during the year and say, Karen, did this person give, or did this person fulfill their pledge? And what I want to tell you is that every single one of Paul's donors gave before I ever had to do a thing. He also made many personal donations of his own, and they were always incremental. It was always a little bit more. Paul and I would meet at the Hilton Garden Inn, or we'd meet at my office, but I always look forward to our visits together. We talked about the scholarship program, but we always talked about so much more. We talked about life. We talked about his family. Cindy, his wife, the love of his life, his parents, his mother's sense of humor. We talked about his courageous battle. He was very honest with me about it. And he did it with such courage and such a sense of humor. He always made me laugh, and he always inspired me and made me slow down and think about life. Paul Whitson was my friend. And I just would like to ask you to please join me for a moment of silence. I want to remember him, and I want to appreciate him and reflect on everything he did for this program and everything he did for anyone he ever met, including me. Please join me. Thank you so much. I know his spirit is with us today, and our celebration is going to continue. So at this time, I want to invite our president of the University of Findlay, Dr. Catherine Fell, to come to the podium. Here is another person who is 100% committed to this university, to our students, to the campus, and to the Findlay-Hancock County community. So it's my pleasure to welcome Dr. Catherine Fell. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen, and thank all of you, business affiliates, loyal supporters. Like Paul Whitson, you make it possible for us to continue our mission to equip students for meaningful lives and productive careers. And we honor you today. We thank you today. So we have students, the 13 students Karen mentioned that are receiving business affiliate scholarships this year represent all 6 colleges. As you know, business isn't just about business. There's business need everywhere. And so we will be sending out, when these 13 students graduate, we'll be sending out health professional, experts, pharmacists, educators, let's see, who else are we? Oh, attorneys. Will you forgive us for that? Attorneys and doctors and nurses, thank you for your good support. We will look forward to seeing some of our students doing research as scientists. You have helped make that possible. We're also pleased to remind you that the support you give us enables our faculty and staff. 75 of them have leadership roles in committees and boards in the region. In Hancock County alone, we have 3,500 alumni working and living in Hancock County. And we are pleased to say that the University of Findlay's economic impact each year is at least $154 million to the region. We're very grateful for that opportunity to give back to the community, and we're grateful to you all for making it possible. Business affiliates are important to us, and you are some of my favorite people. Thank you. Dr. Latta?
Thank you so much, Dr. Fell. It's my honor to be here today as well, and to thank our donors for all that they do to provide support for our students. So trustees, business affiliate supporters, advisory board members, students, and guests, thank you so much for tuning in this morning and sharing this time with us to celebrate. Whether you are a first-time donor or a long-time contributor to this program, please know your difference makes it's an investment in the future of the community and makes such a difference. And today we have the opportunity to hear from two of the students who you've invested in and to hear a little bit about their stories. First, you'll hear from Laura Harper. Laura graduated from Liberty Benton High School. She's currently a senior in the College of Business with a double major of accounting and finance, and she has served as the accounting club president since 2019. She loves horses, so what better place to be than University of Findlay, and started working at the University of Findlay Western Equestrian Farm while she was still in high school. And immediately following Laura, you'll hear from Clayton Ansell. Born and raised in Findlay and graduated from Findlay High School where he played football. He's currently a sophomore enrolled in pre-law and liberal arts. So Dr. Fell, he'll become one of those attorneys. Clayton also works as a district manager at the Courier while carrying a full course load. So students, come on up. And we'll first hear from Laura and immediately after that, Clayton.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to begin by extending a sincere thank you to all of the donors who made the Business Affiliate Scholarship Program possible. I know that it has greatly impacted the student recipients, certainly me. I'm Laura Harper, a senior accounting and finance double major. I've lived in Findlay for as long as I can remember, so when I graduated from Liberty Benton in 2017, I knew I wanted to go to college in Northwest Ohio. The University of Findlay was the clear choice for me due to its small class sizes, personalized attention, and community involvement. During my time at Findlay, I participated in a number of extracurricular activities. I've served as accounting club president since 2019. I'm also a member of 3 honor societies here on campus: IMA Accounting Honor Society, Delta Mu Delta, and Phi Kappa Phi. Perhaps my favorite college memory was being a member of the Dana Scholars Program during the fall of my junior year. Through this group, I was able to visit a diverse selection of businesses throughout Hancock County. I especially loved visiting the Blanchard Valley Hospital as well as Ohio Logistics. In addition to academics, I've had some fantastic internship opportunities. Last school year and this fall as well, I interned for the family office of Gardner & Sons in downtown Findlay. This was a wonderful chance to support a local small business while juggling a full course load. Last year often turned into 14 to 16-hour days just between work and studying alone. Classes always took precedence, though I managed to maintain my 4.0 GPA throughout my hectic schedule. I've also had 2 summer internships at Marathon Petroleum Corporation in both the accounting and finance departments. In fact, just a few weeks ago, I interviewed with Marathon for a full-time opportunity, and I'm excited to see what the future holds for a potential career with them. Working for Marathon was not always smooth sailing, though. In the summer of 2019, I had my first internship in their finance department. I was one of 6 interns, a year younger than everyone else, and the only girl. I'll be honest, I was intimidated. That worry only increased when I realized that I was far behind the curve when it came to technical skills such as Microsoft Excel. I decided to take matters into my own hands. I took an online Excel course, Googled how-to videos, and asked my group to teach me the basics. I made outstanding progress during my internship, but I didn't stop there. I continued to learn more about the platform on my own, and that all paid off this past summer when my supervisor said that I had some of the most advanced Excel skills she had seen of any intern. This just goes to show that having an internal drive and passion for knowledge will serve you well. I believe this is the case across any scenario in life. In fact, I was able to apply this mindset to my academics this calendar year. As we all know, the coronavirus pandemic has significantly altered our daily lives, and for me, part of that was college. Classes moved online in the spring, and that in-person instruction that I so dearly valued was gone. And although my initial reaction was to think of all the downsides, I actually came to realize that it was up to me to make the best of it. So I learned to adapt to that new learning environment. More than that, I came to enjoy its flexibility. I was able to work at my own pace, breezing through easy topics while spending more time on more difficult subjects. And I believe that the skills that I gained during that spring semester served me well during my internship this past summer at Marathon, which was also remote. I came into that internship with a good grasp on how to manage my time and how to stay focused on the tasks at hand. Thanks to generous scholarships like the Business Affiliate Scholarship Program, I will be able to graduate from the University of Findlay this spring with very little college debt. Scholarships have allowed me to devote all of my attention to studying without concern for having enough money to pay tuition. More than that, scholarships have set me up for success early in my career. I'm forever grateful to the university and all of the donors who provided me with a fantastic undergraduate education. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Clayton Ansel. I'd like to thank the donors of the Business Affiliate Scholarship for making this possible. The money really eases the burden for us students here. Personally, I'll be able to pay off a loan I took out this summer for classes. I'm a sophomore here with a 3.8 GPA, a pre-law major, and a member of the Law Society here on campus. I plan to go to law school once I finish here. I graduated from Findlay High School in 2012. I wanted to go to college right after high school, but I couldn't afford it at the time. I took a few classes at Owens. I didn't go very far there because I didn't know what I wanted to do with my education then. After that, I spent a couple years not really doing anything with my life. I was still involved with the Boy Scouts of America at that time. I was too old to still be a scout, but I participated as an adult leader when I could. Through the Boy Scouts, I knew Carl Heminger, who was the owner of the Findlay Courier back then. And I asked him about applying for a job there. And I started there at 2014 back in the mailroom. I'm still there, but as a district manager now. There was a time when I thought I could stay there as a career, but it became apparent eventually that I'd gone about as far as I could. So I wanted to look for something more. I applied at the University of Findlay because its location allowed me to take classes here while still working full-time. I have 7 classes this semester, and I tend to split my shifts at work between the morning and afternoon. So a typical day may have me working from 2 to 6 a.m., coming to the university for a class at 9:30, and then going back to work in the afternoon. But even working that much doesn't make paying for school easy. So again, I'd like to thank the donors for the Business Affiliate Scholarship Program for supporting our education here at the University of Findlay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Clayton and Laura. And Laura, I have to say, the next time that I have problems with Excel, I know who to call. It's great to know that we have a real pro here. Students, thank you. Just wonderful to hear your stories and the difference that these business affiliate scholarships have made for you. And I might also add, I know we have some other student recipients watching this morning. You will have the opportunity later to give forward. We can never give back, but we can give forward, and you'll have that opportunity. And we hope that you will seize that when you are graduates and out there and invest in future students. And speaking of investing in students, it's my honor today to introduce our keynote speaker, and that's Chuck Bills. And Chuck is someone who gives and gives and gives in so many ways to this community. We are certainly a better place for your involvement, Chuck. He is president and CEO of Ohio Logistics, and he started that company in 1988. And under his leadership, it has grown to more than 23 states in the nation, and 23 locations in 7 states, and has become one of the largest privately held logistics firms in the Midwest. He's a strong supporter of the university and has served as chair of the Findlay-Hancock County Chamber of Commerce, and he currently serves on the university's Board of Trustees and the Executive Campaign Committee. He and his wife, Dee Dee, are so generous to so many good causes. Their son, David Bills, graduated here from the university in 2003 with a degree in business management, and their daughter, Brittany, has also been a strong supporter of the university and involved here with some of our committees. As I mentioned, Chuck and Dee Dee are generous philanthropists who support multiple University of Findlay initiatives, including Findlay Fund, Oilers Club, the Center for Student Life College of Business Building, and of course, the Business Affiliate Scholarship Program, as well as lots of good causes in the community. So please join me in welcoming virtually today our featured speaker, Chuck Bills.
Thank you, folks. This is a little bit challenging for me virtually because normally I kind of react to body language and eyes, etc. So I'm going to try to stay on script. I'm going to try to look at the camera, unlike what some of us may have experienced a couple nights past. I'd like to thank Dr. Fail, and when I say thank Dr. Fail, I've been involved with the university and have been a part of a couple presidents, but you know, one thing that as we look for folks at work that our associates is a heart and soul. And I think Dr. Fail has brought that heart and soul to university. And you see that when you see that in Karen George's comments with respect to Paul Whitson. You know, last night, and I'm really getting off script here, so I apologize, but last night I watched a movie, my wife and I, and she encouraged me to watch that movie because we're going to be attending a city mission gala tonight, The Eyes to See the Invisible. And that is a part of a movie, a book, and the movie was Same Kind of Different as Me. And I would encourage all of you, the recipients, students, you know, there's things in life that as I see today, I wish I could have stepped back and listened to what folks were saying. But as I watched that movie, you know, my mind was racing with folks that were of that kind heart and of that giving and of that seeing the invisible, if you will, and recognizing that. And as Karen spoke this morning, I thought, you know, that's who Paul was. And actually that's his family, but specifically Paul. And it just kind of, you know, things come together and you'll hear me say, if you use your eyes and ears. So as Karen was talking, it just reminded me, you know, that as I review that movie in my mind, that was Paul. So thank you, Karen. That's the passion that the university, and I think, especially in today's times, we all need. And, you know, when Dr. Fail asked me if I would be interested in being a part of the trustees, you know, it brought a tear to my eye because these are things I never thought I'd be able to do in my life. I've one that's always dreamed, and I encourage all the students to do the same thing. Because in my case, a lot of those have come reality. for Dr. Latta to speak of the things that our family has been able to give back. And she asked me if this was something that came from my family or my upbringing. From a checkbook perspective, no, it did not. My father was a truck driver. He also 7 kids, his, hers, and theirs. If somebody wants to know what his, hers, and theirs are, because when I speak to Dana scholars, and thank you for your comments, we can talk about that later. But we didn't do things. We weren't in a position to do things like that. But as I think back, what did he do? And I can remember him teaching me how to repair a lawnmower, so I could help our neighbors repair their lawnmower and or mow their yard. I can remember many times when he'd tell me to, we lived beside a swimming pool, community swimming pool, you're not swimming today because I see such and such who had lost their husband, needs their yard mowed. You're going to go mow their yard. So I think about that, and that's what he instilled in me, was to recognize what others, the need of others. And I don't mind saying this. We have been fortunate and thankful, and that's one of the things I always like to say and keep in my mind, that when people ask me, how I am, we are fortunate and thankful to be able to give back. And so I appreciate everyone's comments, and I think that's where, Marcia, Dr. Ladd, that's where it came from, is helping someone just get their yard mowed in the early days. So I went completely off script there, but you reminded me of that. To all the folks involved at the University of Findlay, under Dr. Phil's leadership, thank you for your passion. To the students, congratulations. In 1974, I received a scholarship, if you will, in our local community from the Kiwanis. And every time I come to this function, it reminds me of that day that I was asked to go to our local restaurant and the Kiwanis, who happened to be led by a family member, and presented that check. And I didn't realize it until, a year in college, what that meant and the value of that. And even to this day, so when I come to these, I remember that day. And, there's a lot of times when you could step back in life and tell someone thank you. There's a lot of times when I'd like, if I could see those folks, to tell them thank you. And recipients and students, I don't think, you can't recognize and appreciate folks enough. There's not enough thank yous. And in our company, we try to keep two thoughts in mind: please and thank you. And if we can keep those in mind and always use those, then I think we'll all be better. So congratulations and continued success. I'm going to do a couple of facts here as we go on in recognizing the program. The funding of scholarships is through local people in the communities, businesses, and or individuals. The challenge with this virtual is we can't see them, and as a student, you can't see them and recognize them. They can't recognize you. But without them, we wouldn't be where we're at today. So somehow, as we go through this, we got to realize how we, as current investors, is how we can keep people understand and recognize the value of that. In our business, I talk about creating value. Our companies, our customers can find 4 walls and a roof anywhere. Just what's underneath the roof that counts. And that's our associates, and we need to find value. So we need to do the same thing. We're going to have to do the same thing. And Dr. Fell and the other trustees, that's part of our mission, is to continue to create the value for the university. But in doing that, we have to continue to create the value for our local communities, the citizens of Findlay Hancock County, the business of Findlay Hancock County, and students. You can help us do that. Laura, for you to make the comment, and keep in mind, I realize some things are marketing. If you knew that I was a speaker and you thought, "Holy crap, sorry about that," I'm going to say that I remember as a Dana scholar that I was at Ohio Logistics. So since he's speaking, I'm going to put that plug in there. Either way, thank you. It is our goal that when the Dana Scholars come out to visit us, that they do walk away with something. And I hope they walk away with at least one thing, and that's a handshake. And today we're unable to do that, and I'm challenged with that. One of the things I'm known for is a handshake. And folks, I caught myself the other night. I met a neighbor's little 2-year-old, and I'm shaking her hand. That's just who I am. In the 6th or 7th grade, I had won an award, and the mayor of our little town shook my hand, and I shook his, and he said, "Boy, that's a nice handshake. Don't ever stop that." And so I've always done that, and that's just what I've become known for. So become known for, and students, this is where I become known for something over and above business and what we do. In my case, is I always greet folks, and I'm fortunate and thankful. And secondly, I always shake a hand. And Lori, that's the first thing we did, is shake everyone's hand. And in some cases, some of them I had to give some counseling on how to shake a hand. A fish is not a handshake. And that's what we need to work on. So thank you, and let's continue to do what we can do to create value so people continue to invest in the university and in students. A little history here, or some facts. This program was started in 2001. There's been over 250 student recipients, over 1,000 donors. $584,000 has been raised. This academic year, we're celebrating 13 students in a variety of academic programs. Dr. Fail mentioned some of those. And I hope, she mentioned, I think, 3,500 alumni in Hancock County. I wasn't aware of that. Should be as a trustee. And again, I got to use my eyes and ears more. But we need to make sure that we can do more of that. And that's a challenge for all of us in the education and in the business world, et cetera. The business affiliates recipients graduate from Hancock County high schools and/or work with Hancock County businesses. Many choose to remain in Findlay, Hancock County upon graduation. Recipients, I hope that's what we can continue to help you do, is to keep that brain trust here. Clearly, you have a devotion to being the best, or you wouldn't be a recipient, and that's what we want to make sure that we can do. I always say that we learn from each other, and hopefully that dedication is going to rub off on someone else. They've asked me why we support this, and again, I'm going to go back through my history here a little bit. I am the oldest of 7 kids, his, hers, theirs. Dad was a truck driver, damn good truck driver, and I'm involved with truck drivers today. Even to this day, I recognize the commitment my dad had as a truck driver. And we knew nothing about college. I had no desire to go to college, didn't know anything about it. I can remember the day that I wanted to go to college. I can hear my dad, we just had a small house, telling my mom that I was going to be a long-haired hippie, and which kind of what that symbol was in college back in the 70s. And the reason I was able to go to college, the reason I was encouraged to go to college was my high school football coach, who was a teacher, and my high school English teacher. And to this, there's not too many days I don't step back and remember and be appreciative of where I'm at and who helped me get there. And being able to sit down and think about this reminded me of Coach Armstrong and Miss Stratton. And it was ironic that that's who helped me get to college. And to this day, I'm very appreciative of them. When I talked earlier about dreaming, I want to go back to, what helped me get to where I'm at today and the reasons I wake up every day. Pam asked me earlier, our succession plan today is our daughter, Brittany, and I'm very thankful for that. And my Mickey Mouse watch reminds me of that. She gave that to me 15, 16 years ago. So that's, you have to have reminders in your life, and Mickey is my daily reminder that of the value of life and appreciation. But asked me if I was going to retire, and I don't plan on retiring. I wake up every morning and I am excited because there's going to be an opportunity, and we're going to meet somebody. We're going to accomplish someone. You know, it kind of goes back to, and I'll get into that to some, I hope that my life every day, it brings me a smile, brings me a tear, brings me a laugh, and have the opportunity to shake someone's hand or give them a hug of appreciation. And really, if that's what you want to do, then it'll happen. And that's what life has brought me. So I've always been a dreamer. And I remember in the 7th grade, I was invited to stay overnight at a friend's house, and he had his own bedroom, which was I still remember it. He actually had a second bed, which is where I slept, which again, these are things that if they mean that much to you, just don't forget them. And he had an AM/FM radio. And I'll never forget that AM/FM radio. And I told myself that someday I'm going to have an AM/FM radio in my own bedroom. And I don't mind saying, folks, we can have a few AM/FM radios today. And I do have my own bed. Well, thankfully I share it with my wife. And it's a big damn bed. I never thought I'd have that stuff. And those are the things that you don't think about. Literally, you know, last night it was a long day, and I walked into our bedroom, and folks, by no means do we have a multi-million-dollar house. Hell, we don't use what we live in today. But I walked into our bedroom and I looked at it, and I told my wife, you know, we really have a nice bedroom. And I walked in the restroom and I thought, holy crap. This restroom is bigger than my mom and dad's living room. And I don't know what caused me to think of that last night, but it was. Maybe it was after watching that movie. But I was thankful for that. So always be thankful for the things that are in your life every day. So I set the dream back then to have an AM/FM radio. And then I said, I'm dreaming every day dreaming about something. You know, as we meet the University of Findlay, and please don't have the Tyson or Dr. Latta, don't give me a few years. I want to be Phil Gardner. And a lot of you folks don't know Phil Gardner. My goal years ago, and I still have this, on Sundays I normally catch up on stuff. My goal years ago was to have Phil Gardner Sr. sit in the same room with 7th and 8th graders. And those of you that knew Phil Gardner Sr., that would have been one heck of a, to sit and be a part of that conversation. Phil's a man that years ago people suggested I meet, and I had the opportunity to meet him. And he always referred to me as Charles. And to this day, I'm very thankful for that. And so when I walked to campus, you know, I told my wife and kids, I got to keep working. We got to keep working. Because if we're going to do what Phil's done, we've got a long ways to go. But if we can just get part of it, to have that dream. So don't stop dreaming. You know, as I'd indicated before, as Dr. Ladd indicated, we started our company in 1988. 40,000 square feet, one person. When I say one person, it was me. My wife brought lunch, dinner out. She tried to come out and help me answer phones, but it didn't work out too well. We started with a typewriter. Some of you folks don't know what a typewriter is, but we started with a typewriter, a folding table, and 4 folding chairs, and a porta potty. And believe me, there was some days when I wish that porta potty was sitting outside. Some of those truck drivers have been on the road a long time. And I think back on that, and the front door I walk into every day today is the door I ran a forklift through. And there's not a day goes by, especially when I walk through that door, that I don't step back and think, thank you. And folks, I'm a man of faith. I talk to the Lord multiple times a day. Usually during the day, it's not quite, it's normally about business and, you know, how can I get that customer to pay us, or what the hell is he thinking, and help me understand what he's thinking. And at nighttime, I show my appreciation. And I always, my prayer at nighttime is always, thank you, Lord, for being with me. Thank you for the opportunities that he's put me in. Because there's many times, folks, that if it wouldn't be for some folks around me, I wouldn't be here. And I thank him for being with my brothers and sisters, my nieces and nephews. I thank him for being with my wife, Dee Dee. I thank him for being with my son, David, our son, David, which today is a time that we need him. I thank him for being with Ryan, our son-in-law, and our daughter, Brittany, and our grandson, Jackson, grandpuppy, Arcadius. And because that's what it means the most to me in my life right now. And every day, one of those brings something to me. So I'm not saying you need to be a person of faith, but always recognize those that help you get where you're at and help you get through the day. So when we're talking with folks too, I always want to, this can be somewhat political, but we wouldn't be where we're at today if it wasn't for the men and women of the military. And I truly believe in this. And I read about other countries and where they're at. So as a young person, I don't know if we teach as much about the military in a positive fashion. I realize that there is grief with that and there is death with that. But we wouldn't be where we're at today, and we wouldn't be sitting where we're at today. We wouldn't be folks being able to express their views as they do if it wasn't for that. So I always like to recognize and have the future of our country just remember the military. You know, as the country song states, some gave all and all gave some. And each time I see someone from the military, I like to extend my hand of appreciation, thank them. And you know, depending on you get vibes, sometimes you can give them a hug. But boy, we recognize and appreciate our military. And I would hope that you're in a position someday, if you see someone, that you can also just extend your hand. Because I felt what that means to them. Every day I start I read the local newspaper. But the most thing I go to is a prayer. And a couple days ago, in light of everything that's been happening, the words of the prayer that day was, if I may, we come to you to ask you to help cleanse our thoughts of despair and resentment. Instill in us the will to reach out in giving, loving, and respect for ourselves. And then I added, and those around us. It just, that particular morning, it hit me that I needed to read that several times and share it with folks. And as Laura knows, when she visited our operation, excuse me, I try to keep, I like to read quotes, and there's three sayings or quotes that have meant the most to me and something that I do read every day. And if I may, I'd like to read those to you, and forgive me if I'm pronouncing these names wrong, but Mahatma Gandhi. But when I first read this, it just struck with me, and I wanted to keep with me. So it is with me every day. If I may, there are 7 sins in the world: wealth without work, pleasure without conscience, knowledge without character, commerce without morality, science without humanity, worship without sacrifice, and politics without principle. I look at this every day. Every morning I read this to remind me of where I want to be and where I can help others be too, and hopefully others help me get there. And then President Theodore Roosevelt said, "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end of triumph and high achievement, and who at the worst if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly. And each time I read that, it reminds me of we've been in business 32 years, and I had no idea until people tell me that. It still feels like yesterday. But I still think back of 1999 and 2000 when our largest customer of the industry left America, and we lost 75% of our business. And I didn't know what I was going to do. And those were days of tears, as I'd mentioned to Lauren and Dana Scholars. There wasn't too many days I didn't shed a tear because I didn't know what I was going to do. I know what I needed to do. But thank the Lord, having confidence and surrounding yourself with good people. The management of those companies that closed up went to other businesses and remembered us, and we continue to grow. These things are something that just keeps in my mind, and if you keep doing this on a daily basis, and you'll continue to be a recipient of other scholarships, if you will. That scholarship could be a good job, great family, etc. I had mentioned before what I try to do every day, and Coach Jim Valvano was stated to me, there are three things we all should do every day. One is laugh. And if you think about it, you cannot be mad and laugh. Something I try to do every day is I'm usually the first at work and the last to leave, I want to greet our folks as they walk in the door. And unfortunately, I can't greet them in all of our locations now. And as Dr. Lattis said, I thank the Lord multiple times a day. 23 locations, 7 states. I had a partner that I bought out in, thankfully, 1996 that said we had maxed our growth. We had 1 building in Findlay, Ohio, and 300,000 square feet. I'd like to see him today. He helped me understand what to do, but he I don't mind saying he upset me when he told other people that's all we could do. That was my competition. I'm very competitive. That was my goal to change this. So laugh every day. Think. You should spend some time in thought. There's a lot of times. Usually it's at nighttime when I get ready to lay down in a beautiful bedroom we have, and that's when I start thinking. I used to keep a tape recorder beside my bed, but that didn't work out very well. So now you have your phones, and I can get on my phones and make notes. But that's time of thought. You need to think, not just about you, your business, and others around you. Have your emotions bring to tears. Could be happiness or could be joy. I would say there's not too many times I don't shed a tear in a day. And it could be from personal challenges, business, or someone I know that needs help, needs guidance. We're going to go to the city mission tonight, and we hired an individual that's living at the city mission, and so I have a chance to sit down with him. He's working in Findlay and on an every other day basis. And the reason I do is I want to make sure I continue to understand that there are folks out there that have a need. I'm not too excited about those that have a want, but those that have a need that we need to be there to help them. So if you think about it, you laugh, you think, and you cry, that's a full day. That's a heck of a day. You do that 7 days a week, you're going to have something special. I keep this in front of me every day. And I think that's helped me get to where I'm at today. And every day my goal is to be a better husband, better father, thank the Lord, a better grandfather. Boy, am I having fun. And a better business person. And being a business person means giving back to the community. I've mentioned before, and I'll say this, a couple things in closing, but when I first came to Findlay, Ohio, I met Ivan Gore. Ivan Gore at that time was the head of Cooper Tire and Rubber. And he told me to use my eyes and ears and keep my mouth shut. And at some point you'll know when you can speak. And I did that. And he told me that Findlay breeds success. And folks, Findlay breeds success. I know we're going to have some challenging times with what I call the backbone of our community here in the next couple months. But that's part of life. And from that, we're going to learn from it, and we're all going to be better from it. And we're going to need to extend our hand of passion and help some folks. But it does. Findlay breeds success. In closing, Dr. Latta mentioned the recipients that this is an investment. Truly, as someone who does give, it is an investment. People ask me how we measure our investments. I had someone the other day say, you know, we do give back to our community, and how do you get that back? We can't measure that. So my simple way of measuring that is listen, folks, we started with 40,000 square feet and one person, and today we're, I don't know, 6 million in umpteen states and some locations. And I don't think that was our advertising in as you say, in newspapers or radio or TV. I think it was the people around us. And I think it was us supporting our communities and helping those of need that have been our best sales tool. And when I hear Laura make the comment about Ohio Logistics, it just reminds me that that's our best sales tool. So you are an investment. We appreciate that. We wish you the best of success. As I've mentioned to the Dana Scholars, and I love having the Dana Scholars come out to our facility. You have my contact info. The world's about networking, and you need to help get a door open. We know that today, and we can help you get doors open. So on behalf of the University of Findlay, Dr. Fail, your staff, I couldn't be any more thankful and proud to be in front of this group, to be a part of the university and supporting the recipients and the students. Congratulations. And now,
For you.
oh,
A little Euler goodness.
very good.
Thank you so much.
So I open it now, or?
Whenever you want. You can open it whenever you want.
Let's do it now.
You do it now. Yeah, do it now. While you're doing that, I just want to say thank you. I want to thank you for, I get to take my mask off. I want to thank you for coming and speaking. I want to thank you for referencing Same Kind of Different as Me. That's an incredible movie. Thank you for reminding our students to dream. And you were right about thanking people. We can never thank them enough. And I'm going to do a few brief acknowledgments before we introduce our last speaker. All right, an Euler blanket. Perfect. Chuck, thank you. And I think you might have a career in stand-up comedy too. You might want to add that to your dream list. So we're celebrating our donors, and I'm going to ask Ann Arball to start scrolling through. I'm not going to read names right now, but we want to celebrate our donors today. At the end of the program, we're going to go through every single donor on the list, and I hope you'll stick around for that. It's only going to take about 3 minutes because, as Chuck said, we can't thank enough. And every single person on that list makes a donation, and it's had huge impact. Our first slide, we're going to show it to you. I'm not going to name names, but it's the new and returning donors that help us contribute to the growth. They make their first gift to this program, or maybe they took a break or gave in a different format from their company and came back and made a personal gift. So thank you. You'll see there's lots of names on that slide. Then we have incremental donors. Those are donors who give more each and every year. And they really help us expand and grow. And we have names listed on that slide, so I want you to take a moment as Ann scrolls through, and then, like I said, we'll mention all of these donors. Now, the one category that really, really helps us are our underwriters. They make sure that they give us gifts of at least $5,000 annually, and many of them commit to multiple-year pledges. So that's ACI Construction Company, the Depker Group, Time Staffing, GSW Manufacturing, Dwayne and Kathy Jebbett, and Whitson Properties. And I want to share with all of you donors, thank you. I wish you were here, but you've had great impact with this program this year. We have 13 scholarship recipients. Because of your gifts, 12 of them received scholarship awards, which helped them fulfill their remaining financial need for the 2020-2021 academic year. So just let that settle in. That's an amazing accomplishment. Another couple of groups we need to acknowledge are the rest of the students that are watching that are part of our scholarship recipients. You heard from Clayton, you heard from Laura, students, thank you for sharing your stories. But now I'd like to read the entire roll for the 2020-2021 student recipients and their academic programs. And we have their photos on screen. Clayton M. Ansel, Law and Liberal Arts. Eve M. Kramer, Business Administration, Accounting Emphasis. Courtney Grace Fox, Pharmacy. Laura J. Harper, Accounting, Finance. Cheyenne Howard, Animal Science Pre-Veterinary, Hannah L. Otley, Early Childhood Education, Nate A. Pottager, Sports and Event Management and Marketing, Bailey Ann Rader, Psychology, Occupational Therapy, Emma Nicole Smith, Law and Liberal Arts English, Gabrielle Renee Sons, Criminal Justice Administration, Shelby Lucille Steinbrook, Accounting, Lillian A. Swales, Environment, Health, Safety, and Sustainability, Kendra A. Wadding, Nursing, and that is an incredible group. And so, just as Dr. Fell said, they're going to be our future leaders and do so much for our community. I also want to thank everybody on our advisory board who works tirelessly to make donations for this program. You're going to hear from our chair in just a moment, Pam Hamlin. She's our chair. We have Mark Cosiano, our vice chair. We have Steve Bin, who's one of our general advisory board members, Mike Epps, Annette Edgington. We also have Drew Mahalik, our honorary board member, Jamie Twining, Lori Zadanek, and Ben Wilkinson. And so we have their photos on screen. But now, what I'd like to do is introduce a special friend of this program who has served as a donor and as a chair for the past 2 years. And this is her last term, and I'm really gonna miss her. It's Pam Hamlin. She is the owner of Trends on Main, an incredibly very nice shop. She's also the director of Millstream Career Center, and she joked this morning, Karen, do you have anything else you need me to do? I don't ever want to not be busy. And I don't think I'd ever put that in the same sentence as you. So please, I'm going to wipe off the microphone and let you hear some brief comments by Pam Hamlin.
Thank you. It's an honor to be serving as the chair this year. And as Karen mentioned, and earlier we said 3,500 alumni. I'm one of the alumni and very proud to be an alumni of the University of Findlay. I made a commitment many years ago to be part of the Business Affiliate Scholarship Program because I see the value that our students need to start a career and hopefully continue in Hancock County with us. Many years ago, I attended the University of Findlay, and we won't talk about how many years ago that was, but I did get my undergraduate degree and also my master's degree here at the university, and I was a recipient of this scholarship. So I know what it means to our students. I was a struggling young mother, and I know that that helped relieve my financial burden. As we've heard today from our students, many of our students are juggling not only their studies, but they're working, they're volunteering, many of them have families, and obviously you know the impact that has and how they're having to juggle everything. So your financial contribution is very, very appreciated by our students. I know many of our students this year personally, and I know they're very grateful for your contributions. So now it's time to think about what you can do. And as Chuck mentioned earlier, we're here, you know, we have, whether it's big or small, we really, really want your donation. I know today, I think we have an online link, right, for them to fill out, but we also have some pledge cards. We hope that you will consider donating to our future students. And like I said, hopefully they'll end up in Hancock County and we'll be investing in them with this donation today. So your pledge, I know, means very much to our students, and we thank you very much for your consideration.
I also have something for you too, a little Oiler spirit. And I'll let you. You are welcome. You're welcome. Thank you so much. She's been an incredible chair the past 2 years. And again, a former recipient. So this is students, your future. Just like Chuck said, you're going to come back, invest, and help our community grow. Pledge cards are not with all of you that are in the virtual world, but they're with us. And I also filled out my pledge every year. This program is near and dear to my heart. If we were all together, we would have pledge cards get passed to the students. We do that every year. It's a beautiful symbolic gesture. You can't do that because we can't be in person, but as Pam mentioned, we do have an online giving link. You can give electronically if you've been inspired, and I know I have, by our student speakers, by Chuck, thank you, by Pam. And that is findlay.edu/BA-give. So You can also mail a check in, and you can contact me or any of our advisory board members. So what a day it has been. I am always inspired by the people in this community, by our leadership at the university. We are officially concluding our program, and I hope there's some virtual applause out there because we are celebrating a lot of incredible people. But I will say this, as we close our program, if you can just stick around for about 3 minutes, we're going to scroll through all of our donors, and we're going to say thank you this morning. If you can't stay with us, please go, but I am going to read the names for everybody. And Ann Arball, many, many thanks to you for all of your work and effort in putting this wonderful event together. She's going to scroll through the slides. Our underwriters, ACI Construction Company, the Depker Group, Time Staffing, GSW Manufacturing, Dwayne and Kathy Jebbett, and Whitson Properties. Our investors, Hancock Federal Credit Union. Our partners, Patricia J. Brown, Klaus Construction Corporation, Cooper Tire and Rubber Foundation, Hostler Corbin Insurance Agency, LaRich Family of Dealerships, Marathon Petroleum Corporation, Millstream Area Credit Union, Timothy and Sharon Rooney, Snoke Family Enterprises, the George House, Tall Timbers Industrial Park Association, Martin and Crystal Terry, Yates and Young Plumbing and Heating Company, and Lori and Richard Zidonic. Our affiliates, Ball Metal Beverage Packaging Division, Beer Barrel, Stephen and Victoria Bin, Bridgestone Americas, Eastman and Smith, the Findlay Hancock County Alliance Foundation, First National Bank, Impact Credit Union, Naven Schrader and Company, John and Robin Kaler, Mass Mutual Financial Group, Peterman Associates, Premier Bank, Joel Sheeran, Sinks Flower Shop and Greenhouse, State Bank, Waterford Bank, Paul and Cynthia Whitson. And our sponsors, AAA Findlay Automobile Club, Bigelow Glass, Suzette and Neil Boyd, Citizens National Bank, Mark and Paula Cosiano, Culvers of Findlay, Annette and Brett Edgington, Karen George, Mary Beth and Chris Hammond, Hickson Zerker Capital Management, Catherine A. Lewis, DDS, Drew and Lydia Mahalik, Alyssa and JJ Preston, Ridge and Company CPAs, Trends on Main, John and Patricia Whitson. And our members, Brian and Caitlin Alexander, Rick and Luann Beverly, Neil and June Bolenbaugh, Stephen and Mary Jo Burkert, Ryan and Brittany Darby, Elizabeth Ditto, Samuel and Angero, Austin and Nicole Gerton, Huntington National Bank, Dr. Hiro and Mrs. Sachiko Kawamura, Nathan and Jessica Leahy, Blair and Tina Lane, Dr. Julie and Mr. William McIntosh, John Motter, Ohio Automotive Supply Company, Orion Cancer Care, Dr. Deborah and Mr. Devin Parker, Diane Rowland, RPM Carbide Dye, Dr. Jacqueline C. Schulk, Stahl and Company CPAs, Dr. Richard States, and Lee and Ronald Zidonic. What an incredible roll call. Thank you for making this program a success, and have a blessed day.